All right, welcome back. Let's continue our reactions. Shout out to Tamron. All this is another content reaction to that platform. I think right now we have Laterras from Dear Future Wifey, who just recently got married. Okay, but let me read this comment from Natu real quick. Natu says, "When I struggled one time with fibroid and cysts, I was prescribed birth control, which I refused to take." All right, please let's continue to educate ourselves, and please always talk to your medical. This thing has too many nuances, and it depends on so many things. Make sure you talk to your medical professionals. Do not self-medicate. All right, so let's listen to this video.
You can see him do the work, but fear or doubt can seep in. How did you deal with that?
Yeah, I think it's by his actions, by his consistency.
Give me an example of his actions.
Well, I have his location.
Amen. Amen.
Location.
I gave her that.
Ashley, 5,000 answers came to my mind. That one wasn't one of them. You location share.
Yeah.
We had a whole show that debated location sharing, and I was on the fence about it.
Okay.
But you do. But I love it. I just don't do it. And I have nothing to hide, but I love that you trust each other, that was a step that was needed.
And I gave it to her first. You know, I gave her my location, and I gave her the PIN code to my phone. And so I said, anytime you want to check anything, check it. I don't have nothing to hide.
It wasn't because I questioned what he was doing. Yeah. It was because he will work really late. He'll come, get home late. He'll drive home late when he's in the studio working on editing or things like that. And so there was a day where I just was like, are you okay? I don't know where you are. He fell asleep in the studio. But
because of his background and some of the things you go, is he okay? And then you go, wait a minute, is he okay? You can see him do the work.
All right, so that's they're talking about Laterras, this young man right here, Whitfield, and his new wife, Ashley Whitfield. You know, I see a lot of people dragging Laterras on the internet. And then sometimes I wonder, I understand why they're dragging him. You know, people just, I think the woke generation despise the sight of perfection. If you act like your shit don't stink, they would dig into it and start looking for something they can drag you about. It's just what it is. If you're popular enough. Nancy said, never did birth control when I was diagnosed with fibroid. All these low budget pastors. Some of your big pastors are doing it though. May God help us. Sometimes I love Baba Adeboye. I just don't want him to speak to expertise topics. Sometimes I need to speak strictly life stuff, faith stuff. Please do not extend into, like, for example, there was a testimony that Baba gave about some girl that ran into his hotel room with him that opened her clothes. He took to open her dress. I'm like, Baba, these are the kind of testimonies you probably shouldn't be giving in 2026, but okay, I believe you, sir. But let's get back to location sharing in marriage. Do you believe in location sharing in marriage? Right, this is one of those conversations about that creates a blurry line between privacy, secrecy. What are you hiding? Why don't you see that young lady? I think she's married, Tamron All. She said, I just don't do it. I don't have anything against it. I just don't do it. I think it poses a very, very important conversation as we move into the new era and we have new gadgets and new, should you share your location? Okay. And if you want to know personally, do I share my location with my wife? Yes, we do. Okay, we do. Okay, but there's a reason, and it's not because of what you think. It's not because of transparency. I think transparency is for, in most people's idea, it's a fallacy. It doesn't exist. Whatever you mean by that, I was about to correct. Whatever the F you mean by transparency, it really doesn't exist. Okay, you can be all transparent you want, and then the opposite side effect of it is actually wrong. It's opposed to. It's not what you want. Like the end objective that you're looking for, which is, I guess, full transparency and trust. It's not what you. And you can see, it was very quick to say, and I gave it first. That gave it first. It's like, red flag. Okay, red flag. Why are you giving her your location so fast? If she refuses to give you her location, would that be a problem? Right? Right. So would that be a problem? Let me see. Let me play that video again. I think that, yeah, right here. I'll play that video again so you can see how fast he was saying that.
But fear or doubt can seep in. How did you deal with that?
Yeah. I think it's by his actions, by his consistency.
Give me an example of his actions.
Well, I have his location.
Okay, the first two answers was perfect. His actions, his consistency was perfect. The location, this doesn't help anyone in the grand scheme of things. What do you mean it doesn't help anyone? Again, you're going to need to think a little bit deeper than surface level. Just, okay, compare the two. The actions is consistency, right? Compare that with location. One of them is discrete logic. You know exactly where they are at any point in time. No, you know where the phone is. You don't know where they are. You only know where the phone is, okay? If it comes down to a matter of survival, always remember this, that human beings will cheat, steal, and lie if they have to do those things to survive. What about moral standard? You missed what I just said. Survivor, and I'm including emotional survival in that. Sometimes you're just you're good enough a nag, and somebody's just, they rather not hear your mouth. They will, yeah, you can call them a coward if you want, okay? Call them any name, any labels you like, but they would rather not. They would rather not deal with your mouth, because you know you don't know where to stop. All right, so consistency is action. It continues to show up whenever. That naturally makes any human being, and of course especially women, make them feel safer long term, that to the point that even if you're committing bad behavior, they'll let you slide all the time because they feel safe and secure with you. Security is number one for women. You can open your location all you want and share location all you want. If that doesn't make her feel secure, because remember, some people, that's what make them feel secure. But I think that's very myopic and that's very surface level, and that can be short-term in nature. Okay, because it's not deeply rooted in lifestyle. It's much more rooted in a device, right? So some people, that's what make them feel safe. But then you're yielding. But at what point do you stop making them feel safe using tangibles as opposed to a lifestyle? How do you think you can survive that long run? Because it will move away from phones to eventually other things, and they will need to monitor every little thing to the point that they can potentially smother the romantic love in that relationship to death. At what point does it become that? These are the questions that you need to ask yourself when we're talking about this kind of stuff. But let me read this comment before we move forward. Not I honestly never thought of sharing location, but I give my husband my itinerary for the day. Same thing, same difference, right? You give him the itinerary for the, I do the same thing, even before location sharing, because the person you live with, yes, even as an adult, should kind of know your whereabouts, like just for safety reasons. You know, you have all the SOS these days and all those kind of stuff. Those are all useful stuff, but those are all weapons that you can actually use to manipulate and weaponize against your partner if you're in a very unsafe relationship. If you're in a relationship that doesn't feel safe, those things become weapons. Yes, location sharing will become a weapon. I know you think to you it's not, because you just, let's just share, let's just transparency. It becomes a weapon to that person's sense of safety. And that's something that when we're talking about relationships, marriage, long-term, all of it, you have to pay attention to. So how do you know when to share it? I don't. It's like asking a person, how do you know if that's your wife or not? It's like asking a man, how do you know if that's your wife? You know, I tell you, marriage, relationship they are super spiritual endeavors in life. It's a move of faith. You will have to be vulnerable. You have to feel vulnerable enough. If you can't feel vulnerable enough, you're probably better off just doing life alone. Okay? When you feel vulnerable enough, it's one of those things, it's unspoken. You don't have to say it. Like, for example, if I was buying my wife a phone and we're setting up, if I'm buying her a phone, I'm taking care of her beyond just tangibles or monetary, material things. I think I'd rather a woman say if they want to share location or not, knowing fully well that it doesn't really stop me from bad behavior. Okay, it just means you know where the phone is. I'm just telling you. Instead, focus on making each other feel safe and secure in that relationship. That's more of a difficult thing to do, because once you figure that out, oh yeah, you're on the other side of what we call a beautiful relationship, where you don't have to like monitor people, looking around and digging into devices and all, becoming a detective in your own home, essentially stealing your own joy. I would just be very, very careful when we talk about this. Should a husband and a wife do location sharing? Sure, there's nothing wrong with it. What I'm telling you, it doesn't guarantee anything. What guarantees everything is that this person, well, there's no guarantee in life, but the only thing closest to that is a person that feels safe and secure, that wants to come home. They can't wait to come home to you every day. There's only so much hours in the day, 24 hours. How much time do they have left to start doing BS? Some people are, you never know these people, you see. You're talking about your insecurity. Can we talk about your insecurity? Let me see here. Maya says, this is something the kids used to do, and I thought it was weird. It seems common now. It's everywhere. I would keep location sharing on my children's phone. Yes, because for safety reasons, right? And by the time you start having children, I hope you have a healthy enough relationship that it shouldn't be a big, grand conversation. Right? Because again, anybody who's going to commit bad behavior will do it anyway. But for the safety of the family, I think it's a good idea. Not the safety of the relationship. Those are two different things. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let's move on to some other trendy stories around the world. I'll be right back.
This is Ola, Man of Prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife Lola and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and Number 1 Red Flag. Yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.